right, my friends, is it just me, or is the mainstream media being way too nonchalant about the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump in 2 months? I've been up since 5, I've been traveling, I'm at my hotel right now flipping through the channels, and they're on MSNBC like, well, Donald Trump should have toned down the rhetoric, glad he's okay, the guy's been taken into custody. If this were Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, they would be apoplectic and melting down. And since the Democratic elite, the mainstream media, they're doing this victim blaming and talking about rhetoric, let's look at this post Hakeem Jeffries put up earlier today. Extreme MAGA Republicans are the party of a national abortion ban, and Trump's Project 2025, we must stop them. Now, you guys know I call it like it is. I don't work for Donald Trump. I've never taken a dollar from him. But objectively speaking, he has denounced Project 2025. He says he wants nothing to do with it. He's not going to implement it. And when it comes to the national abortion ban, Trump has said many times in the past month he is not going to sign a national abortion ban. Hakeem Jeffries, I don't know if he's a compulsive liar. Kamala Harris, she's pushing the same talking points. They're lying, they're gaslighting, and manipulating the public. And since we're going down this rhetoric rabbit hole, Joe Biden is the one who said it's time to put Donald Trump in the bullseye. That language leads to him being put in a bullseye. Now, when it comes to the actual assassination attempt, the sheriff down in Palm Beach County says Donald Trump doesn't have as much Secret Service as Joe Biden because he's not the sitting president. Excuse me? Donald Trump was almost assassinated 2 months ago. Give the guy more Secret Service agents. As an American who pays my taxes, abides by the rules, I am embarrassed and incensed that Donald Trump was almost assassinated in 2 months. And I would feel the same way with any other presidential candidate, any other former president, any sitting president. Our founding fathers put forth a set of ideals. We are supposed to be an example for the rest of the world. This is mortifying. We're supposed to be the United States of America, not the divided states of America. And the fact of the matter is, political violence on both sides of the aisle is unacceptable. And I felt the exact same way on January 6th when guys in raccoon hats and face paint were scaling the Capitol like monkeys hopped up on Mountain Dew. It's simply a fact that the Democratic elite, the mainstream media, have painted Donald Trump as a threat to democracy, as a dictator, so much so that those words have real-life repercussions. Here's a post from Kamala Harris on June 21st. It says, "Our democracy is on the ballot." Now, here's a post from Ryan Roth, who's currently in custody and is suspect number 1 for the assassination attempt. He says, "Democracy is on the ballot and we cannot lose." When the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, a multi-billion-dollar media industry, almost every single Democratic congressman, senator, etc., point the finger at one man and say, "You're a threat to democracy. The country's going to come to an end if you get back in power," guess what? You can't act shocked when something horrific occurs. And lo and behold, on every single mainstream media, liberal news station, they're not acting shocked. They actually seem perfectly fine and okay with what just happened today and also what happened on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. As an American, we have free speech in this country. It is your right to absolutely despise Donald Trump. You can hate him with every single fiber in your being. However, we have to be able to vehemently disagree on policy, vehemently disagree on how we're going to make life better for the American people without resorting to political violence.
I agree with that 1,000%. 1,000%. I'm going to go through a little bit here, but I want to get to a larger point because I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of the, a lot of the stuff coming out of that entire situation. First off, thank goodness that Trump is okay, right? That was one of the first things that he posted. He was like, before any rumors start swirling, I'm fine. Okay, so I do want to say that. But there are some interesting details about it. And then I'll get into a bigger point in just a second here, but I'm going to play this clip as well. Check it out.
Hey, remember when we found out that Thomas Crooks, who was Trump's first would-be assassin, was in a BlackRock commercial? Guess who else was in a commercial? I don't know if it's a BlackRock commercial, but it's a pro-Ukraine propaganda commercial. These people just keep winding up on TV. Who is that? Who's that guy? Well, that is Mr. Ryan Roth, who is the second would-be Trump assassin. Yesterday, now they caught him, and he's alive. They let him live. They gave everybody a good, hour and a half to get the screenshots that they needed before they started suspending his social media account. The old boy here was a big supporter of Ukraine. He went and fought in Ukraine, and his Twitter was full of posts trying to get the United States involved in the war in Ukraine. He was Slava Ukraine. His kid come out, and his kid had made a statement, and he has said that his dad was not a Trump supporter like any reasonable person. You betcha. adding that he's my dad, and all he's had is a couple traffic tickets as far as I know. That's crazy. I know my dad, and I love my dad, but that's nothing like him. Crazy. He said he was on a beach, and I thought what he meant was the Outer Banks, Hawaii. I didn't ask him for more information because we've had a falling out, and we were growing apart. He's a violent person. He's a hard worker, and a great dad, and a great dude, and a nice guy, and he worked hard his whole fucking life. This game every 4 years, and I think we all do, and then if my father wants to be a martyr to how broken and disassociated the process has become from the real problems and practical solution, that's his choice. Sounds super reasonable.
Yeah, but also he was arrested for having a weapon of mass destruction, I believe in 2002, if I remember the date correctly. So it wasn't just traffic tickets that he was arrested for. I will play this clip from Sean Hannity as well on how Trump was immediately following what happened. Check it out.
That's what we want to know. How is he doing if you spoke to him?
Well, you really want to know the truth, Arthel? He goes, well, there's more details because I did hear, and Steve Witkoff was very clear. The first thing the president did when he got back to the clubhouse was make sure that everybody else was okay. He didn't see his golf partner with him. Where's Steve? Where's Steve? Where's Steve? And then Steve says, I'm right here. He got in maybe a few minutes behind the president. The Secret Service was able to get everybody to safety. Everybody else was taken off the golf course. Then when the president found out everybody was safe and nobody had been harmed, I guess in typical fight fashion, Trump said to Steve, and then he related to me, I really wanted to finish the hole. I was even, and I had a birdie putt.
Typical Trump, man. Typical Trump. Let's get right back to it, right? These folks are not going to scare me. They are not going to move me. Now, I do want, how much do I want to show? Goodness gracious, because I have a lot that I want to get to. Well, let's get to a little bit of this, because I think this is also interesting. Check it out.
So the new Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already. Ryan Roth, very strange guy who's lived a very strange life. And this time, the internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him and one really interesting rabbit hole about who he might be. Right off the bat, though, it's super early. This is all speculative. Take your time, pump the brakes. We're just digging through dirty laundry. We don't know what sticks yet. But this guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. In a past life in Hawaii, he apparently ran this company that made a single tiny home and a single Facebook page and never did anything else with it. Super weird. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting things. Now again, reminder, this is just speculation, digging through Twitter dirt. Maybe this chick is just a wonderful, patriotic person that's helping America. Who knows?
Right. Who knows? Who knows? And like I said, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds because I want to get to a bigger point. And actually, I'll play this clip from Tucker because Tucker Carlson actually laid it out perfectly. Check it out.
They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can't reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? They have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him.
Tucker said this before the first attempt. And I agree. And I'll play this clip as well. But this is why they don't want him there.
They can't lose. Because if they do lose, they are all done for a while until they die. Pass away from old age or whatever, or get imprisoned even. I mean, people belong in prison.
Yeah.
So with the mentality of this group that cannot lose without being exposed, I don't see how they let Trump get back in there. And I think he seems like he's in a pretty good place right now.
Yeah.
I'd say he's never looked more mature as a politician. I'd say he's outshining the entire Democrat Party. Like, I think they're getting exposed left and right. And it'd be wonderful to have him back in office to kind of set things straight. But it's not going to be pretty because they can't lose.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that's why Trump said too big to rig, because he understands that there's going to have to be such a gap there that they can't close it. No matter what they say, how they scream and yell, there's going to have to be such a gap there that they can't close it. And right now, I believe we have that gap. I mean, the proof is right in front of your face. Listen, I don't have any insider information. I'm not connected to the Trump campaign. Sometimes I wish I was so I could speak to him directly. Like, bro, stay off of these golf courses, okay? Like, go out, do your speeches behind a bulletproof glass. Matter of fact, just do that and just stay behind bulletproof glass. Because you being out in the wide open, not feeling it, okay? Not feeling it. But I believe we do have that gap right now. And that's why you see what's happening. Do I know that for a fact? No, but this is just me looking at the situation and the circumstance that we're in and just adding 2 + 2. It's equaling 4. 2 attempts on his life in that short of a span, right? And in my mind, and I said this yesterday to somebody, if you felt like you had someone beat, would you try to knock them off? Would you try to pine box him if you knew you had him beat? You wouldn't. You would let him lose. You would want him to suffer that embarrassment because you know that would be the end of what is called MAGA. You know it would be the end if Trump lost fair and square, right? And we all knew it. Well, it's probably the end. More than likely the end. Because Trump is MAGA, right? He is MAGA. So if you felt like you had him beat, this kind of stuff wouldn't happen. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. I'll play this Victor from Victor Hansen. This is from last year, November of last year, 2023. Check it out.
They look at Trump as a vampire and they put a stake in his heart, but they're afraid that that stake could come out any time, that he's undying, and they're afraid of him. They are terrified of him. You know why they're terrified of him? Because they think he's smarter this time, and he has just cause to really get angry because of what they did to him. They can write all of the Atlantic Monthly, and they can write all the New Yorker clever, glib little essays about Donald Trump was a threat to democracy, or they can write all their little Molly Ball Time essays, how clever and brilliant they were with their cabals and their conspiracies to get rid of him. But deep down inside, they know that if the right ever did that, or Joe Biden, they could have really made something out of the fact that Barack Obama had a hot mic expose where he told the president of Russia, you tell Vladimir that I will be flexible on missile defense. That's the security of the United States of America, if he gives me space in my last election. And Putin did do that. That's an impeachable offense if a phone call to Ukraine is. So they understand.
Allegedly, of course. Allegedly. So yeah, I'm not going to play that whole thing because it's like 10 minutes long. But the overall point is that they know once he gets in office, they're cooked. They're cooked. You can't poke the bear and expect the bear just to walk away, right? That's just not going to happen. I don't care what you say. That's just not going to happen. And so my prediction is that this isn't over. There will either be another attempt, and I said this. I said this before the debate. I said if Trump crushes Kamala, right? Which I wouldn't say he crushed her, but she couldn't move the scale. She didn't really move anything electorally. Trump is still on track to win. So I guess it's still the same. But I said there will probably be another attempt on his life. And I was a little hesitant when I said it. I was like, I don't want to say it because I don't want to put that out in the air. But you guys can go back and watch the videos. Some of y'all saw those videos. I saw this coming. Like, it's just obvious. Like Tucker said, like, how could anyone not come to that conclusion? Right? Now, it will either be that, and I think that's lower on the scale now because they've already attempted twice, allegedly, of course. I think what's more likely is they'll cut the power. Oh, there's been some major attack in the U.S. Iran has cut the power. You know, it's been a major cyber attack. All power goes off. Something big like that. And then, of course, you know, that won't happen until like right before the election or during the election. And then a little bit after, you know, a day or two, Kamala, you know, the power will be cut back on or whatever, and they'll come out and they'll praise Kamala as being this great, fantastic leader. Oh my goodness, she had some great leadership in this moment. This is what we need as president. And they'll prop her up. That's my prediction. That's my prediction. What are you guys thinking in the comment section? I hope I'm wrong. But 2 + 2 is equaling 4. And I said this before. They will do anything necessary to try to win. They know the gap is too big to close. They can't. Not without being caught. Right? So if you know you can't close the gap without being caught, what do you do? You stop it from even being counted. And how do you do that? You cut the power. That's just 2 + 2 = 4. I mean, that's just, you know, like, listen, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. And if I am wrong, let's say that I am wrong. Because here's another prediction. If I am wrong and they don't, and maybe they try something else, because I genuinely don't believe this is where it ends. They'll do something else. But if they don't succeed, the moment that Trump becomes president, the moment that he wins, you're going to see a lot of people leave this country. And I don't mean citizens. I mean like the elites. Oh, I'm retiring. I'm tired of the shenanigans, the back and forth, the animosity, blah, blah, blah. You know, they'll come up with something to try to make it sound and seem as if they're tired of the terrible rhetoric or whatever coming from the right, the extremist right. I think you'll see a lot of people leave. That's my other prediction. But once again, that's easy. That's 2 + 2 = 4. They know they can't stay. You took a shot, and this is just a saying. I'm not saying that Trump is king, right? Before anybody tries to twist my words, but this is just a saying. You took a shot at the king and you missed. Don't come for the king if you're going to miss. Just a saying. I'm not saying Trump is a literal king or my king, right? Jesus Christ is king. But it's just a saying, right? You guys get what I mean. I just didn't want anybody to twist my words. Oh my goodness, he's calling Trump his king. Like, no, it's just a saying. But yeah, they missed. Twice. Allegedly. So yeah, what are you guys thinking, man? Do you think my predictions are gonna be correct? Do you think I'm way off? How you guys feeling? Let me know. That's just the way that I see it right now. They understand the gap is too big to close. Because otherwise, if you could close it, why would you attempt to take them? That just doesn't make any sense. I want to embarrass you. And that's why when Republicans were calling for Biden to impeached or 25th amended or whatever else. I'm like, yo, why? We have him beat. Like, embarrass him. What are we doing? We have him beat. We have him right where we want him. We got him beat. Let's beat him. Let's embarrass him. That's why I was calling out Republicans like, no, leave him alone. Leave him alone. If anything, we'll do that after the election. Like, let's embarrass this guy. You know? Don't you think they would do the same to Trump if they felt they had him beat? Just saying. I'm just saying. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all let me know. Talk to me, please. But once again, you know, obviously the great news is that Trump is okay. He's safe and sound. And they apprehended the alleged shooter. Well, I guess he didn't actually take a shot, but it seemed like he was getting ready to. He poked his weapon through a fence where some bushes were. And Secret Service saw the barrel and took shots at him, and then he took off and ran. Excuse me. He took off and ran. So, yeah, man. It's crazy. Crazy times. And to be honest, I expect them to get crazier. Right? I expect them to get a bit crazier. But y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.